Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Fight Song Friday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. The same on Twitter and X, and we're replayed on Sports Grid Television and SiriusXM channel 159 each and every single weeknight. If you guys are on the replay crew, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you guys for being here on a Fight Song Friday. This is sort of the kickoff, if you will, of the football season. Fight Song Friday, that's a Roll Call Friday intro that you guys watched on YouTube. I will, Sonic will, someone will create a Fight Song Friday intro for this show. This is going to be every Friday. College football is not back, but we are very close to it being back. It's back next week. We have week 0 on August the 23rd coming up with Kansas State and Iowa State for Farmageddon. If you can believe it, we actually have a real live college football game that actually is going to be pretty good and pretty exciting to watch. And I think a lot of folks are pretty jacked up. I know people who are going over there, who are going to fly over there, who want to watch it. Ireland is where that game will be played. So it's fitting for a Fight Song Friday. We'll start it off with the cycle. If that doesn't get you excited, nothing will for college football. So that throughout the show today, we'll sprinkle it in. We have a request. I told you guys you could go and request something and I'd play it for you. We have a requested fight song that we'll bring up today during a Fight Song Friday. Jesse Merrick is going to join us. He has a new company, Silver and Black Sports Network, covering the Raiders. Jesse has left local television. Jesse just did what I did. I left radio to go here. Well, at the time it was props.com and then to this. So I had to stop in between. But Jesse has left television here in Las Vegas. He worked for the NBC affiliate here in town, and now he is covering the Raiders full time on his own. Really cool new venture. If you are a Raider fan, check it out. Silver and Black Sports Network. Jesse Merrick will join us in about 10 minutes to get into that. So looking forward to having those conversations about the Raiders. We're going to be all over the place today, by the way. We got a million things to talk about. We got a million fun topics, 2 preseason games in the NFL to get into for tonight. We got baseball games, obviously. We've got some big news in the industry for our folks at Circa. Huge day for them. We'll get to those conversations. Bet Bash wraps up tonight here in Las Vegas. I'll be headed down there this evening to check that out. I'm not going, but there's a very swanky black tie event for tonight's Hall of Fame induction at Circa for the Sports Betting Hall of Fame. So we've got those topics to get into. And we start the show today with an opening line topic that I don't think I really thought we would ever get into. Opening line, Little League Baseball's mad. You guys are betting on Little League Baseball and they don't like it. They're really upset about it to the point where they decided to go ahead and issue a statement about it. I'll put it up here in just one second. I live in Summerlin, which is a suburb of Las Vegas. At the top of the hour here, 2 hours, sorry, at noon today, the Summerlin Little League will be playing in the Little League World Series, the U.S. bracket, trying to get to the Little League World Series internationally. There was a kid yesterday, by the way, from Chinese Taipei who threw 82 miles per hour from a Little League mound. Really? That's Okay. But I don't know if it's the parents that are from Vegas that are the victims of this or the culprits of this. I don't know. All I know is I was laughing. I'll admit. When I first read this, I was laughing. Little League Baseball, official statement telling people to stop betting on kids' games. While the Little League International continues to monitor the complexity and ever-evolving world of sports betting, we feel strongly that there is no place for betting on Little League games or any other youth competition. Little League is a trusted place where children are learning the fundamentals of the game and the all-important life lessons that come with having fun, celebrating teamwork, and playing with integrity. And no one should be exploiting the success and failures of children playing the game they love for their own personal gain. I don't know what to do with this topic. I'm being honest. A part of me is laughing my butt off. A part of me is like, guys, like, what are we doing? We're betting on Little League? Like, what are we doing? But the other part of me is like, I kind of get it. Like, you're in a state where it's legal. Pennsylvania, it's legal. Now, I don't think a legalized sports betting market should ever put up a line of a sport involving anyone under the age of 18. Okay? Like, that's the line that I would draw personally, that we are not going to bet on high school, we're not going to bet on middle school, and we're not going to bet on Little League. But my daughter goes to school with two of the kids who play on the Summerlin Little League team. Like, she knows them personally. So they're doing all this. This game's on ESPN coming up here at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. So I don't know, by the time you guys watch the replay, I don't know if Summerlin won or not, but they won their first game like 16-1. They killed the team they played. So I don't know. I mean, I get why like Jim and John, the dads, are in there and like somebody else walks up and they're like, hey, what line do you want to give me on the game? We're going to watch the game. We're going to have a friendly bet. The first time I saw this was in Alabama. I saw this at Pop Warner games. There was a guy who literally was booking games involving Pop Warner. And when I brought up to a friend of mine who lived in Florida, he was like, oh, yeah, this happens all the time. Oh, yeah, there's like legit, like real books that take like big bets, like 4-figure bets on these kids' Pop Warner games. Is it degenerate behavior? Yes. Do I kind of understand it? Yes. It's a sporting event. I know what we're betting on. We're betting on 12-year-olds. I get it. It's insane to say that out loud. And it should not be done in a legalized sports market. It shouldn't be done anything besides like a gentleman's agreement. But the problem is it's not just a gentleman's agreement, because as our guy CBW pointed out, I don't know which book this is, but this is an offshore. There are your numbers for the games being played today in Little League, in Williamsport. Mountain, that's Summerlin, Nevada. They're dogs. That number actually now is plus 160. The team out of Washington's got a massive, I don't know who they are or how good they are, but clearly the bettors believe that Nevada's going to lose today. They're not winning today. But this is real. Like, this is available. That's an offshore book, but that is what it's up. It's there. So while I can go, this is not great, if you want betting to be made illegal in America again, keep this up. Like, that's what my opinion really is. If we continue, if this is what we're going to do, if people are going to bet on Little League and you guys are going to demand it, or you're going to get caught, there's going to be all these things going on, we're going to see gambling be made illegal in America again, because nothing gets a politician's attention more than anything involving kids, like involving kids sports. And we know this is a $1 billion industry now. There are baseball bats that these kids will be using today that are $600. There are kids who ride in buses that are branded for their team. They are wrapped buses for their team. There is a huge industry in youth sports, into coaching, into camps, into gear. So I get the involvement is so insane that, Okay, the next step would be, well, we bet on Major League Baseball games. Why don't we bet on Little League Baseball games? I cannot stress this enough. This cannot happen. You guys cannot be doing this. You guys cannot be doing it legally or pushing for it legally. Again, when it's done being offshore, you can't stop it offshore. You're never going to stop it. They bet on everything offshore. But in America, we've got to be careful. Like, we've got to be careful about embracing it. We got to be careful about doing these things, because Little League, when I was growing up, when I was 12 years old, we had 2 all-star teams from Andover, Massachusetts. I was on the American League all-star team. The National League all-star team went to Williamsport. After that happened, we no longer had 2 all-star teams. We had 1, because they went down there and lost. And obviously my town wasn't very happy about that. Those kids came back to a parade, which we on the other team were kind of not ticked off about, but we weren't in love with it, because we were like, hey, we were all-stars too. And they went to Williamsport. Look, it's going to be a really interesting look going forward, because I remember how passionate my town was when Andover was in, and I think it was, hold on a second. I'm going to show you the ball. This was the ball that I got for being on in 1989. Yeah, this was that's the All-Star, American League All-Star. I played 2 years of American League All-Stars, and that's what I got as the gift for being on the American League All-Stars. And I still have the ball. 1989. So that's how long it was. It was in 1989. So think about where we are today. Think about how far in advance we are today from a youth sport perspective. And how, I mean, Dick's Sporting Goods basically has designed their entire everything around the dedication and the obsession that parents have for youth athletics. Okay. Offshore betting, you can't stop it. But I want to know, why did Little League do this today or yesterday? Like, what caused Little League to go and issue that statement? That something happened yesterday where they were like, yeah, we got to go get in front of this, and we got to tell everybody you can't bet on Little League baseball. I mean, heck, it's fun to cover Little League baseball, but I'll be curious when Jesse comes on here in a couple of moments, because he was a local sports guy here in Nevada, in Vegas. I think it's been like 3 of the last 4 years. There's been a Little League team from this area, from the Las Vegas area, that has made it. And look, this is a market that has produced very good players. UNLV's baseball program has been tremendous. Bryce Harper. And so, Bryson Stott, there's a bunch of players have come out of Nevada, out of Las Vegas, and out of UNLV. But like, we're going to bet on it. Like, come, we can't be betting it. we can't be betting it on this. And I know why they're mad. I mean, I know why Little League Baseball would be mad, because it only increases the energy and the anger and the passion that a parent may have. Like, if your kid is playing out there in the Little League World Series, you're already at like 10 for an emotional standpoint. Now, if we put it on top of, we have money on it, now we're yelling at the umpire. Now we're yelling at the kid who makes the error at second base. Now we're yelling at the coach if the coach pulls out the wrong, puts the wrong pitcher in or leaves the kid in for too long. Like, now we're just adding layers here. We're just building more and more potential for volatility, for outbreak, outbursts, and other problems. So I get why Little League's like, get out of here. Like, you can't be doing this. But why did they issue why yesterday did Little League Baseball decide, yeah, we need to do this? Yeah, we need to get out in front of this and say, hey, we're not on board. Stop betting on games. Parents, people, stop betting on Little League games. Again, in the offshore market, you're never going to control it. You're never going to stop it. On the onshore market, no one's putting it up. I don't know any legal book that's got it up. So it must have been happening at the Little League World Series in Williamsport. Like, some guy must have been like, hey, I'm a bookie. I'll start taking action. Go and tell everybody. Hey, tell everyone. Jimmy the nose. I got it all for you. What do you need? I got Summerlin at plus 160 today. What do you want? I get the best price on the planet. Come bet it with me. Otherwise, why the heck would they put this out? Because again, the offshore market has been having stuff like this up for a very long time. This is nothing new that you can bet on Little League baseball. Like, you can bet on it. So why did the Little League yesterday feel like they have to issue a condemning of the whole thing and saying, stop? People, parents, whomever, please do us a favor, stop betting. So today, Summerlin Little League, top of the next hour, 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. They're major underdogs. They're big dogs today. After their big win yesterday, they're heavy underdogs for, I don't know why, for whatever reason. I don't know why they are heavy underdogs, but Ish says go ahead and hammer Nevada money line. Go ahead. Take Summerlin on the money line today if you want. I guess they're now plus 136 at certain places. I don't know who's on that other team, but the dogs of Summerlin might be coming through here. We'll see if they wind up getting themselves another win at the Little League World Series. And I don't know if it's folks from Summerlin who caused that. I'm going to laugh a little bit about it. I'm not approving it. I'm not. Who's running a book about his kid today. But then again, why would he make his kids such a big dog? If it is a local bookie from Summerlin, they're plus 160. They're big dogs today in their game against Washington. All right, let's talk some football. He has started a brand new venture, Silver and Black Sports Network. This is a really cool deal. He is Jesse Merrick. He is joining us on the Bostonian versus the book. Jesse, Matt Perrault, good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I want to figure out what bookie in Summerlin is making their kid an underdog too. That's wild to me.
I don't know. I don't know who's doing that. It's kind of wonky. You were a local TV sports guy before you started this venture. So we'll get to the new website here in just one second. But did you have to cover anything with the Little League teams that came out of here?
Oh, yeah, we did. I remember a couple years ago when the Henderson Little League team made it out there. It was a huge deal for our station, and it was like blowing up on all the social channels and online and everything. Like, the community really rallied around them. So we didn't actually go to Williamsport, which I would have loved to do. I think that would have been fun. The station got a little cheap when it came to that, but they love to cover it and go to the watch parties and all that stuff. And so it was really cool, man. It's fun seeing these kids get the shine, that a lot of these major athletes get. And so it's one of those moments where, like, those kids never forget it. But I would have loved to be able to go out there to Williamsport and check it out.
No, the kids never forget it. And
yeah.
in particular, when it comes to just the emotion behind it, it's why the kids are crying when they played all summer together. And for a lot of 12-year-olds, that's the last time they'll play with a lot of these kids that they've played up with, in school. So, all right, Silver and Black Sports Network. Tell me about it. What caused you to want to go into this? You have made a pretty big career switch to go ahead and work for yourself.
Yeah, big time. I've always kind of had the idea of going independent, just didn't quite know how to do it. And when I really kind of sat down and started to build a business model around it, I was thinking, I'm like, man, I love covering football. That's all I've ever wanted to cover. We have the Raiders here in Las Vegas. So I was like, how do I mesh those two things together and create the job that I've always wanted, And so that's how the Silver and Black Sports Network was born. And huge leap for sure. Because, look, I'm leaving a cushy TV job, where things are good. I had a great time with my co-anchor, Brian Salmon, over the years, but it was one of those things where I was always going to be asking myself, what if I didn't take that leap and go give it a shot? And so I finally got the guts to get it done and pulled the trigger and formed the station that I wasn't going to be renewing my contract, that I was leaving on my own accord to go do this. And, I've been hitting the ground running ever since July 22nd, I think is when we launched. And, it's been pretty wild since training camp started and everything, just cranking out as much content as we possibly can. And it's been a blast, man. I truly enjoyed talking about football and football only. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a nutcase when it comes to football. So it's been really fun just being able to do that on a daily basis.
So you're going to obviously camp. You're looking at practices. You're looking at joint practices. The 49ers were here this week with the joint practices with the Raiders. It's been hot as holy heck here in Las Vegas for the last couple of weeks here for the guys in full pads. But what's right now, the Pete Carroll era looks like what blank to you as it begins here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, the first word that comes to mind is just different than it has been in the past. You know what I mean? Which everyone says that when a new coach comes in, but it feels like Pete Carroll is literally and figuratively that adult in the room, Obviously, look at the staff that we had in place with the Raiders, with Josh McDaniels was in coming into town. It was like, okay, we saw that blow up in Denver. What's it going to be like here? And the same thing happened, And then obviously things were bad. He's supposed to be this offensive guru, and that was not the case. Then they switch over to Antonio Pierce, who the fans rallied behind, and he did bring those good vibes. But on the field, the product wasn't there. And again, the offense was just not great. The defense had a ton of injuries as well. Now with Pete Carroll, he comes in that like stabilizing, steady force, and he's more of that like CEO role. He's going to let Chip Kelly, the new offensive coordinator, do his thing. And Chip has said multiple times, all he ever wants to do is just coach ball. He doesn't want to be on the phone, recruiting kids or being the head coach dealing with all that other stuff. Like he just wants to scheme up offense. And I think when Chip has just that to concentrate on, he's a really good offensive coordinator, really good play caller. Same thing on the other side of the ball with Patrick Graham. This is a guy that, at one point was a really hot name and was in the coaching carousel to be a head coach. And I think some people forgot about him. He may be a bit underrated as a defensive coordinator. So the pieces on the coaching staff have just come together. And again, with Pete Carroll at the top, the vibes are great for the team, which I know is so cliche. And like, well, how does that translate to wins and all that stuff? But like, it's a big thing because you can just feel the energy and feel the difference amongst this group. And I think Pete is going to let everybody kind of thrive in their roles.
I love when people ask questions in the chat, and this comes from a guy, I think he's in Philly, but Philly Vegas is wondering about Gino Smith being a one-year guy. Is he here to mentor anybody on the team? I think that's a really good place to start here when it comes to the roster, because Gino Smith now at the quarterback position, it's a competent quarterback now.
Yeah.
You've got a guy who has won games. He threw for over 4,000 yards last year for Seattle. So now he's with this Raiders team. Obviously, it's a different roster. It's a different coaching staff and a different offense. But how has Gino Smith looked, and what is his future here?
Yeah. So look, let's be real about what Gino is. He's not a top, 8, top 10 quarterback. He's likely in that maybe 10 to 15 range, which if that's what the Raiders get out of him, that is massive compared to the horrible quarterback play that they've had the last handful of years. Turnovers have been a thing. Obviously, they haven't been able to run the ball, so that hasn't been a big help either. But like with Gino, you get a guy, you know what you're getting at him. He's going to be accurate. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way. And, he's the guy that gets the ball out of his hands real quick and can distribute and has the comfortability with Pete and has even actually like rubbed elbows with Chip over the course of his career. So there is some familiarity there with Chip and kind of what he wants to do. Now, in terms of his future, they got him on the 3-year deal. He's going to be that stopgap, like kind of quote unquote Band-Aid guy, but I think he's a really good Band-Aid guy in that sense. I mean, you could do much worse. Look at the fact that there was some talk of maybe bringing Sam Darnold in. I think any Raiders fans would have been like, hell no, we don't want Darnold. You go and get Gino instead. That's a big win. So for him, he is that stopgap till they do find the guy going forward. Do they have that guy on the roster now? I don't think so. We've seen Aiden O'Connell, start for this team, and I think he is probably just a quality backup. I think that's what his career is going to end up being. They got a new kid in Cam Miller. He's from North Dakota State, and he was late draft pick. I want to say like 6th round. I forget off the top of my head. And he has looked good. He's showing really good development, has been making big leaps each and every week. And he's good for like a total dime in practice, like at least every once or twice, 1 or 2 days or something like that. Like there's been multiple throws where all of us media members sit back and look at each other and we're like, whoa, like, did you just see that throw? Like he just like put it on a rope right between a couple defenders. And so there's things that are there. There's word that Tom Brady also, really was pushing for this kid for them to draft him. So like having the backing of a guy like that is obviously big. Do I think he is going to be the quarterback of the future for this team? I think it's way too early to be asking that question because we just haven't seen it enough. But there are some interesting tools. What I think happens is I think Gino is the guy for the next probably 2 to 3 years. And within 2 years, if the opportunity presents itself for the Raiders to either draft a quarterback because maybe they're not as good as many of us believe that they will be and they're high enough in the draft, or I think they go for broke, trade a ton of picks and go get a guy to be the dude behind Gino for maybe a year, let him coach him up, let him be that leader because his leadership really is off the charts, and let him kind of get this kid ready to go. So that's kind of the way I see it going for Gino, where he's the guy right now and they don't quite have that guy that's going to be waiting in the wings to take over, but it's only a matter of time till they find that guy, or at least try to find that guy.
So I've been watching Chip Kelly football for a really long time, whether it be at UNH, whether it be at Oregon, whether it be in the pros. Chip Kelly has been a really interesting story to watch. Like things did not work in Philadelphia, obviously, right? He blew up, but as you mentioned, he just wants to coach ball, and he's a guy who is well respected as an offensive, I don't want to say guru, but a guy that people expect an offense to be highly productive. They draft Ashton Genty. So if you have a quarterback in Gino Smith who can throw, they spend a lot of draft capital on a running back to come here. What's the offensive line going to look like, and how run heavy are they going to be?
Yeah, I would imagine, like, look, one, if you take a running back that high, you damn well better be running the ball a lot, you know? And then you look at the personnel on this team. I do happen to like the pieces that they have in the receiving room, but for the most part, outside of Jacoby Myers, it's very unproven. It's young guys that we need to see the consistency out of them. And there is some talent there, but we have to kind of wait and see what that turns into. But then you look in the tight end room, and they have Brock Bowers. They have Michael Mayer, who I think is a very underrated receiving threat, but that dude is massive. He's like, I think he's 6'6", like 250. So as a blocker, he can be a problem. So I think they're pretty much going to live in 12 personnel, and be running the ball a ton. Now, the big question is, can you win and score enough doing that in the AFC West? Look at all the quarterbacks and the offenses in that division in particular. It's going to be tough to win a load of games doing that, but the argument on the other side is if you can run the ball effectively, you obviously keep the ball out of the hands of those quarterbacks. The big question, like you said, is going to be the offensive line. They were horrible last year. There's no way around it. And for the most part, they're kind of running it back. But they have a much better scheme offensively that I think fits them more. And just the coaching in general. Thayer Munford, one of the backup tackles, he even said, he was like, last year, it kind of felt like they were just like making play calls. And there were times when they'd be in the huddle and they'd be like, what? Like, and he was like, this time around, it feels like things make sense. There's more of an understanding, and it's just a whole total package. So that's obviously going to help. Now, we didn't see that in the first preseason game. And again, they were running a very vanilla offense. They're trying to keep things under wrap, but that vanilla offense did not block well and did not look great either. And that was against a bunch of twos in Seattle. So definitely have to see more out of the offensive line. In joint practices, I thought they looked good. Ashton did break a couple of runs in that joint practice. The big thing is just going to be like, when it's for real, week 1 in New England, are you able to run the ball against a team coached by Mike Vrabel that's going to want to be real stout against the run?
So yesterday we had Derek Brown on, Debro from Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros, and he made some headlines because he thinks the Broncos are going to win 13 games and win the division.
Woo!
In your mind, where are the Raiders in the pecking order here? And could they still be a last place team in the West, but have a pretty good season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I've heard some people say, and I kind of believe this, is like they could be like the best 4 seed in a division in the league, which sucks. And I know Raiders fans won't want to hear that, but I think that's like, you just have to look around the division. A lot of people are really high on Denver, and I think for good reason. Obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Chargers, you really never know what quite to expect, but Harbaugh's there. That's a guy that's been a proven winner, over the course of his career. So it's very well the case that they could be. I have them right in that like 8 to 10 win range. I don't think they're going to get to 10. I think 8 is the magic number for them. I think that's where they do end up, which when you look back to what this team has been, 8 would be a massive turnaround. And I think would be something that if you're like a logical fan or just a logical observer of the NFL, you sit back and think, okay, they won 4 games last year. They doubled their total. And now they're really starting to build something and lay the foundation. And so I think this is really like, as much as Pete Carroll and everybody else may not want to say it's not a foundational building year, that's exactly what it is for them. And I think that foundation to me looks like 8 wins, because I do think that they raise their floor probably more than just about anybody else in the league. But as you said, there's a lot of dogs in this division, and so it's going to be really tough to stack up wins in that division. But crazy things happen. Like who knows what actually goes down. But like I said, I got them in that 8-win range.
New Sportsbook Boomers here in Nevada, in Las Vegas, has 6.5 juiced -140 to the over for the Raiders. How likely is it in your mind that they make the playoffs? Are they a complete long shot? Are they just kind of looking on the outside? Are they going to be in the hunt? Because there is a shot, and I don't think this is going to happen, but someone in the chat is talking about this, 100-1, all 4 teams in the postseason. All 4 AFC West teams make it, and only 1 team from the East, and 1 team from the North, the South, and 3 wildcard teams coming out of the West. Can the Raiders make the playoffs?
I don't think so, to be short, but That's a crazy one. If you want to throw something at it, go for it. But I just don't see that being the case. I think this year I've said that, that graphic towards the end of the year when they got all those teams on there, that it's like, oh, they're in the hunt. I think the Raiders need to strive to be in the hunt graphic all the way down the stretch. I do think they're just going to miss out on it. If I were betting money on it, I wouldn't be going after that. I wouldn't be chasing Raiders in the playoffs. That's not something I think that happens this year. But crazier things have happened. Pete Carroll's a guy that wins everywhere he goes and usually does it pretty quickly as well. So, look, that's a tough guy to bet against. But I think just given the situation of where this roster is at, the division they're in, everything, I don't think they get into the playoffs. And I don't think we see that many teams from the AFC West get in either, because look at how tough the AFC is as a whole as well. I think there's going to be other teams stacking more wins together to be able to get in there.
Week 1, Raiders at the Patriots. This is going to be a really interesting game for a variety of reasons. It's the debut of Harbaugh. The Patriots are currently -2.5 or 3, depending on the book that you look at here. Tell me about the defense. What's this defense going to look like? And are we playing unders or overs a lot for the Raiders this year?
Ooh, I would say probably unders, given the fact that they're going to want to run the ball, so they're like offensively probably trying to eat up some clock. So maybe that does hurt the numbers. Now, obviously you asked about the defense. The big question, in which some people are going to be like, well, what the hell do you mean? You just said play the unders. Like, the secondary is a bit of an issue or a question mark. It could be that they're really good, or it could be that they're really bad. Like, we just don't know yet. But they are going to have a really solid pass rush. That's something I am very, very sure of. So like, if that pass rush gets home, maybe that question mark gets a little less questionable. You know what I mean? Back on the back end there. Like, there's a guy in Eric Stokes who was a former first-round pick where things just didn't quite click for him in Green Bay. Maybe a change of scenery, working with a guy like Pete Carroll, who's known for his DBs and everything like that. Maybe he finds something in him. Darian Porter, the rookie out of Iowa State, a real rangy Pete Carroll type of guy at corner, is likely going to be the starter opposite Eric Stokes. Then on the back end, you have Isaiah Polamau, who's stepping into the full-time role as a starter for the first time in his career. So some unknown there. And then you also have Jeremy Chin as the other safety, a guy who, look, in coverage, that's not his strong suit. He's more that box type safety. So like, you don't want to see him in coverage. I also do think they're going to probably play more of like a big nickel look anywhere, where he's rolled up closer to the box and play more of that matchup football. So for me, it boils down to the pass rush is going to be good. Are they good enough to make it a lot easier on the guys on the back end? And how do those guys actually develop when the bullets are flying for real? That's going to be my question. But right here on, August 15th, I'm saying play the unders.
Okay. I'm really hoping when the Patriots play the Raiders in a couple of weeks that we're not seeing a repeat of anything like the backward pass ridiculousness.
Oh, God, that was wild, dude. That was wild.
It was not wild. It was horrific as a Patriot fan
you,
to watch that whole thing happen. That was awful.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It should be a good game, and I know you're going to go cover that game at Foxborough. Debut for Mike Vrabel and Pete Carroll, so a lot of eyeballs will be on that game for sure for both fan bases. If the Raider fans or even AFC West fans in the audience, if they would like to know, follow, and pay attention to your coverage, how can they do so, and what are they going to get?
Yeah, so go to silverandblacksportsnetwork.com. That's going to be the best way to support us. That's where our newsletter lives. All of our articles are up there. And so our newsletter comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6 a.m. There's multiple tiers to it. If you want to go for the free version, that'll get you the newsletter on Friday, but $6 a month for 3 days worth of some of the best analysis and content you could possibly get on the Raiders, with some fantasy football, betting insights, all that stuff that we're going to be getting as the year rolls on. And then also find us on YouTube at silverandblacksportsnetwork.com. Our YouTube channel has blown up in the 17 days that we've been doing it. So the support's been great there. So do please check it out. We just had an awesome interview with Cody Alexander of matchquarters.com. This guy is a defensive guru and broke down anything and everything you could possibly imagine about the Raiders defense and Patrick Graham's scheme. I think it's the best thing we've done so far. So do check that out as well.
Good stuff. Jesse, we'll do it again soon, man. Appreciate the time. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks.
That is Jesse Merrick joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book, here covering the Raiders for us. Good stuff with him. Check it out, silverandblacksportsnetwork.com. Go check it out for sure with Jesse. Good stuff there on the NFL. I told you we've been bouncing around a lot today with a variety of different things. Let's keep it rolling here with what happened last night. All right, this happened this morning, so it didn't really happen last night. But this morning we learned about what Michigan is getting. They got fined $20 million. Coach Moore is going to be suspended for 2 extra games. They had already suspended him for 1 game and given a self-imposed suspension for 1 game. It's going to be even more heavy now from a suspension standpoint for that. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. So we'll see what happens with $20 million is $20 million. Okay. It's a lot of money, but for a program like Michigan, they're going to be able to absorb that. It's not the end of the world for them. Losing your coach for 3 games is not great, but he's going to sit the games, the cupcake, clown show games that anybody. It's the same thing that happened with Harbaugh. I mean, Harbaugh won the national championship the same year he served a suspension. Okay. For impropriety, for off-field stuff. This is a great talking point for Ohio State, for Michigan State, for Penn State. This is all their fan bases that can get to continue to make fun of Michigan for the stealing of signs and what happened and how they lied to the investigators and how they weren't forthcoming and everything else. So $20 million is $20 million. I'm not trying to downplay how much money that is, but we'll see. Mr. Roble with a super chat. Matt, can you please explain what happened the last time the Raiders and the Patriots played? Well, I got to remember that. What was the last time they played here in Vegas? Because that was the Jacoby Myers throwing the football, lateraling it back, it being picked up and returned for a touchdown, and the Patriots would have gone to overtime and said they lost the game here in Vegas. Was that the last time they played? Because that's the scar tissue. if you want to talk about from Patriot, I was there. I was at that game. So the scar tissue from that, maybe they played a different time, Mr. Wobble. So if they did, someone can correct me in the chat. But yeah, Vegas 2 years ago. Yes, I did go to that game. I took Madeline to that game. Minty Betts gave me her tickets to that game. If you can believe that. Minty sent me and my daughter to that game. And then that happened. And then that happened, which was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, that was just so typical Patriots. Like, that was just what that team looked like. I mean, it was just, they were a mess. Like, it didn't work. It was the end of the Belichick era. It was just disastrous every single time. It was great. Yeah. Remember Mac Jones in that game? Chandler Jones mushed Mac Jones into the turf. Yep. I mean, just destroyed everything. It was just a brutal, from a Patriot fan perspective, that whole year, the Mac Jones year, the defense, the offense, everything. Belichick, it was an absolute clown show. And so that was 2 years. That was the last time. So that was the last time they played. That was the last time those two teams got going. So Patriots -2.5. It's not a bad bet. Okay. Just telling you right now, it's not a bad bet taking the Patriots over the Raiders. I don't like that Raider defense at all. And I don't like the Raiders' run defense. The Patriots are going to run the ball. Trayvon Henderson's going to run the ball like crazy this year. He's going to be a huge weapon. Vrabel's going to play defense and run the ball. Under in that game probably is a good bet. I don't know how much offense we get from either side coming up in that one. So, okay. You're just making me. You were just making me. Okay, Mr. Rubble. Fine. That's fine. You can. Hey, as I always say, super chats. You want a topic? You want it discussed? You can throw a super chat up there and. You got it. Yeah, Addison, I like it. Pats to come in second in the AFC East to +175. Sure. Dolphins are a complete clown show. I don't like the Jets. I think Justin Fields is going to have a tough year. So, I mean, they're going to run. The Jets are going to run the ball and play defense too, but I just don't think they've got a receiving core outside of Garrett Wilson. I don't think they have a receiving core worth anything. And I think Justin Fields is going to be kind of a one-trick pony, and teams are going to stop him from running and making him throw, double team Garrett Wilson, and then what? What are you doing there if you're the Jets? So I think they're going to have a really hard time scoring. So while I think the Jets might be in a bunch of games, like the Patriots were a couple of years ago, like 13-10 type finals, like you're just always losing by one score, I think that's what the Jets are going to look like. The Dolphins have the potential to be an absolute, dumpster fire given what's going on with them. So that's very possible. So I don't mind that. Pats to come in second in the division. I don't mind that at all. The Guardians are only a half a game back. They win yesterday. They beat the Marlins. They're a half a game back of the Yankees now for that third and final wildcard spot. This is getting interesting from a Yankee perspective. And the Guardians aren't good. I don't think that Guardians team, this is a team that had massive problems. top two pitchers. Their number one closer, all-star closer, is gone. Their starting pitcher, Luis Ortiz, gone. Emmanuel Clase, gone. And yet here they are knocking on the door of a wild card bid, and the Yankees just can't get it right at the moment. I mean, they have time. They can rectify it, but it is wild to watch the Guardians being right there and being right behind the Yankees. And if you're a Yankee fan, you got to be just going, what is going on with our team? I love it as a Red Sox fan, but right now for the Yankees, Seattle, Boston, and the Yankees. Those are your three teams right now holding wild card spots in the American League. The fourth team, the Guardians. All right, time for just the picks. Let's go into some games tonight. How about two preseason games? The Titans and the Falcons. Now, neither team scored anything in the first game, but everyone bet the over in every game. 14-2. Week 1, overs. Everyone's like, keep it going, right? Wrong. This game's going under. Titans and the Falcons, under 38. I don't think we're seeing offense. We're not seeing first teams. We're not seeing, Cam Ward, again, it's the Titans and it's Callahan. I'm going to, every single time, I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. We bet it last year with the Titans for their team total under, for wins under. I'll do it again this year. Titans wins under. It's Brian Callahan and Bill Callahan. Sorry. I like Cam Ward. Don't like the team. Hate the coaching staff. But what that local news station did to him, that X to an S, it's a big difference. When you change that X to an S, it changes the entire context of that cryon. Whew, boy. But it was only a matter of time for that to happen. And it happened yesterday for Michael Penix Jr. But under Titans and the Falcons, I don't think we see any offense between these two teams. They didn't do much in week 1. Don't think they're going to do much here in week number 2. Seahawks tonight, hosting the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't playing anybody, and they're not going to show anything here tonight. Seahawks, this is important. They tied their first game against the Raiders. They weren't very happy about it. It was 23-23. You're going to see, I think, a little of the starters for Seattle, but not a lot from a starting perspective. And if you're the Chiefs, you're going on the road for a second consecutive week, and you're going to Seattle, and you're going to a program that, Andy Reid, generally speaking, he's under 500 in preseason, rightfully so, doesn't show anything, doesn't play anybody, and just goes straight vanilla. And from a Seahawks perspective, they didn't win their first game. I think they'll want to win their second game. And this is like kind of like dress rehearsal kind of thing for Seattle. I like the Seahawks. I'll lay the 3 points here with Seattle tonight up against the Chiefs. No, Mahomes is not playing. No, obviously not. No one is playing. So on that. Sorry for freezing. I told you we'll do some things to correct that, but I am going back to New Hampshire, so we won't have freezing problems because we'll be working with different internet in a couple of weeks. So in September, for the month of September, when I'm in New Hampshire recovering from the surgery, we'll have no problems with the freezing. So yeah, the only starters going into the offensive line, and who knows how much they're going to play. Jason and Casey, they may play a series, 2 series. I think the Chiefs are punting on this game. Give me the Seahawks -3. And for baseball today, I like the under for the Rangers and the Blue Jays. You've got 2 pitchers going here. It's DeGrom day, so I think DeGrom, the Rangers don't score all that much. Chris Bassett's 8-0 at home this year, so I kind of lean towards the Blue Jays. But with DeGrom pitching, I don't think we're going to see much offense at all. It was a low-scoring series against the Cubs for the Blue Jays, and the Rangers, they just play unders. That's what they do. Their offense just is not really all that great. And now they're going to be obviously contending with Chris Bassett at home, where he's very, very good and tough to beat. Under 7.5 for the Rangers and the Blue Jays coming up here for today. It is time for our weekly look at the silly side of life and your chance here to cut. Why is that not firing?
Cut it out. Come on, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Get out.
Sorry for the freeze. I must have frozen. That's why I wasn't firing. Cut it out. Brought to you by our friends at Cut. If you guys don't know about Cut, they've been with us for a couple of weeks now, and you guys can go and do some cool things with Cut. Cut is a social peer-to-peer betting platform. It's legal in over 40 states. Payments and bets are all pre-funded. Nobody can flake on a bet when they lose. You can customize your plays and your payouts. It is a social-first sportsbook. There's chats, there's fan groups, there's betting leaderboards, user profiles, and more. Rewards, you can get cash back, and you guys can go get a 10% deposit bonus when you guys use the code BVB when you download the app, you download the app on the App Store or on the Android store. Play.kutt.com, KUTT for that. 10% bonus if you guys use the promo code BVB at Cut. Did you guys see this story about this young woman? This is unbelievable. So I didn't know this existed, but her name is Michelle Fox. She is from Arkansas. There is a place called Crater of Diamonds State Park. Crater of Diamonds State Park. You are allowed to go out there and dig for gems each day, any day, for $15. She went out and did this. She was on a mission to go find her own engagement ring. She went to this state park with one mission: to go and find a carat, a diamond of something to go on her own finger. And she found it. She found a 2.3 carat diamond. This is unbelievable. For 3 weeks, she went to this place. Actually, she lives in Manhattan. Sorry, she's from New York. For 3 weeks, she went here. Look at this. She had tools, shovels, her own hand. She would wake up. She would go and do it, go to sleep. She'd wake up, go and do it, go to sleep. Then on the third day of her going ahead and doing this, she said she was coming to terms with that she was not going to be able to get it done. Her last day, her fourth bucket of dirty water where she had gone to do the whole shimmering it out, she saw a tiny stone, a 2.3 carat white diamond, the third largest find of this year. Of the 366 diamonds that have been registered so far in 2025, only 11 weighed more than a carat. Hers was 2.3. The value is between $10,000 and $50,000 as they've yet to appraise on this. When she and her partner began, as the New York Times wrote, when she and her partner began talking about marriage 2 years ago, she quickly realized that she wanted to find a diamond rather than buy one. In addition to avoiding the diamond industry, the stone would represent the kind of work marriage will require. Friends and family called the trip ridiculous. As anybody would, right? Somebody comes to you and says, I'm going to go to Arkansas, and I'm going to go and look for my own diamond engagement ring. I'm going to go find this myself. Of course, you would look at them and be like, come on, man. What are you doing? You got to be crazy. You can't actually be thinking you're going to go and find a diamond. She found a diamond. What's weird about this story so far, after all of this, is that she texted her partner and his mother and said, guys, it happened. They're in the back running tests right now. The girl in the front said she's not supposed to say, but they've been back there this long. It's almost definitely a diamond. Eventually they came back and it said it was 2.3. I mean, back in New York at their apartment, her boyfriend was waiting with her favorite French fries from a popular place that they like to go to. He didn't propose. He didn't propose. She comes back with the diamond. And the dude, she comes in, he gives her French fries. That's the cut it out part of this. That's the cut it out portion. He didn't even propose. How do you not propose? She went and found the diamond ring, dude. $0 out of pocket for you. None. She wants to marry you. She goes to Arkansas to go and find the ring. She comes back and you give her French fries? You give her French fries? How did she not turn around and go, I'm out. Goodbye. Goodbye. See you later. I'm gone. See, goodbye. See you later. Could you imagine that? Really? Adam says his wife would prefer fries over a 2.3 carat diamond. Really? I found us a diamond. Thanks. That's a good point. You're right. I went out and saved you thousands of dollars. I went and found a $50,000 diamond that I'm going to put on my finger when you, well, right, hit the knee, right? You're going to propose to me. Oh, what? French fries. Honey, I love you. Here's your favorite box of French fries. Now they just need a ring. He didn't propose on the spot. She said that she's really looking forward to this, to the proposal. She told the New York Times in an interview on Thursday, I'll say this, I certainly have to find a way to live up to this now. This is according to the guy. She's dealt her cards, and now it's my turn to put together something impressive, and I'm really looking forward to that. He had to think about it. He has to plan this out. When you get the phone call that the girlfriend has a 2.3 carat diamond that she found in the dirt, that she went to Arkansas to go find, and she found it, and you come back and you're not ready? You're not ready? Dude, talk about dropping the ball. Oh my. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? This is like a guy who's like, I don't know. Like, unbelievable. Yeah, right? Can't she propose? She has the diamond. That's a good point. Absolutely. Yes. What are we doing? That's exactly what Dave would say. What are we doing? Yes. Is Arkansas a diamond field? It is at this state park. Yes. There's a state park where you can pay $15 to go and sift for diamonds. And the guy found diamonds, or she found diamonds. I don't know, man. That is an unbelievable story. The fact that she stayed with him is even more crazy. He didn't propose to her. He does all of this, and he does not propose on the spot. I got to plan something out. Really? You weren't thinking about what if she actually did it? New York Times major story today on that. That is an absolute awesome story. Brought to you by our friends at Cut, the peer-to-peer social betting platform. Go and download it at kutt.com or in the App Store. 10% deposit bonus with the code BVB coming up at sign up. I can't get enough of that story. I absolutely love that story. It's completely hysterical. Time for the Brigade Proxy story of the All right, this is a pretty interesting story. By the way, I'm going to have more details about what's going on and there's two text messages from the show that we'll get to. I'll get to when the show is over. 702-570-8255. I will explain everything as to what's going on for us. But yes, we are doing the proxy service. Yes, we are bringing on extra help for this season. So you're still going to be dealing with us, signing up with us for the most part, unless someone else needs to be there to sign you up. But I'll explain everything coming up very soon. We'll have an announcement on the show on Monday. I'll explain everything that's happening, but we are incredibly thankful for someone who is stepping up in the proxy community to help us this year, because clearly Dave is not going to be able to do what needs to be done. And then I'm having surgery. So like, this is a pretty rough fall for us here. So we're still doing the proxy service, but we're bringing on some extra help to get everything done. But 702-570-8255, go ahead and text us to make your appointment to come on in to be a part of the Brigade Proxy service this coming year. Fox is not going to let ESPN use games for their college football red zone. While I understand why they're doing this, this kind of stinks. So ESPN has to do a deal with Fox, CBS, and NBC if they want that whip around show to actually have games that aren't just ESPN games, because the biggest games most likely are not going to be on ABC and ESPN every week. At least one rival says no thank you. Fox has said no thank you. They're not going to allow ESPN to use Big Ten games, meaning Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. Talking about the number 2 team in the country, number 3 team in the country, another top 10 team in the country in Michigan. This is significant. It stinks. I understand why Fox is saying no, you can't use our stuff, but I wish that was not the case. I really, really wish that was not the case, because that, in my mind, is what would make that thing unbelievable. from a betting perspective, from a fantasy perspective, that's why that we talked about it earlier in the week. That's why the channel exists. Okay, it's why Whip Around, Red Zone, whatever you want to call it. It's why it exists. It's for folks who are having money on a bunch of games and they want to watch, or they have fantasy. In not as many people play fantasy sports in college, but they do. So a lot of do play fantasy sports in college, and they want to monitor their team and they want to know what's going on. And they want to see at, on a 1:00 kickoff games, when you get to like that witching hour in college on Saturday and it's like 3:30, there's the late games in the afternoon kicking out. And then there's all these different things going on. So like there's a million opportunities, a million things that are going down for college games that you would go and flip to a Whip Around and be like, okay, tell me what's going on. There's 8 games I want to watch. You do it for me. What's important? So I hope that Fox rethinks that, but I know why. They want people watching their stuff. They don't want, Fox has 2 good games. Fox wants people to go and flip to their stuff. And that's where the quad box comes in. YouTube TV doesn't want this to happen either, because YouTube TV wants you to have the quad box to watch all the games simultaneously, or Direct TV with the quad box, or the Octabox, or whatever you get into. So I understand why Fox is saying no. It just stinks. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish there was a better opportunity. I wish there was a relationship that could be made, but the NFL is far easier because you're all in the same boat, and the NFL helps to facilitate this. And it helps everybody. The red zone helps everybody in the NFL. The red zone won't help everybody in college. It will help ESPN. It will help their channel, but it won't help everybody. So I'm disappointed by that, but I understand it. Guys, remember, we are going to be at Circa, the ultimate football contest weekend, Thursday, Friday of next week. We are live for 2 hours each day with a litany of interviews. So many fun things coming down the pike to celebrate the ultimate football contest weekend. To talk about Circa Million, that is $6 million up for grabs, including a $1 million first place prize. That's 5 games a week against the spread. Circa Survivor, $15 million, but there will be more. Last year, it was $14.2 million. Unbelievable. 14.2 last year. 15 million will be hit and surpassed, probably 17 million dollars in the pool for Circa Survivor. You can enter anywhere. You can hire a proxy. If you're in Vegas, you must be physically in Vegas first to sign up. Hire a proxy. circasports.com for full information, full rules and details. But Thursday, the ultimate contest weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from Circa Sports. It's going to be a ton of fun coming up. Looking forward to seeing some of you. Looking forward to interviewing Derek Stevens and Jeffrey Benson and all of our friends from Circa, because they had a massive, massive day today. And we'll end the replay portion of the show, the sports good portion of the show, with the news of the industry. Circa, huge news in Missouri. One of 2 standalone licenses have been awarded to Derek Stevens and Circa. This is awesome news for them. Huge congratulatory for all the guys at Circa. That DraftKings and Circa have both been awarded the standalone mobile licenses in the state. FanDuel will be with a partnership with Boyd Gaming in the state, but Circa and DraftKings will be allowed to be untethered, meaning they do not have to work with a brick and mortar partner. They can just operate like they do in other states like Illinois, where they are strictly just a sports book. Now they a sports betting app. Now they may go ahead and build like they did in Illinois, and I'll be curious to see what happens. But the statement from Derek Stevens about this, winning one of Missouri's first 2 untethered mobile sports betting licenses, is a great honor. We came into this as a long shot against national giants like DraftKings and FanDuel, but our licensure approval today proves that there's room for a different kind of operator. Circa Sports is built for bettors with sharp odds, high limits, and a low hold. We've already connected with 81,000 Missourians through our Club One loyalty program, and we're ready to be an active part of the community, from local events to supporting youth sports. We didn't win by trying to be the biggest. We won by staying true to who we are. Derek Stevens, the CEO of Circa Sports, today on the announcement that Circa has won a standalone license in the state of Missouri. Congratulations to our friends at Circa. A Fight Song Friday continues on the other side in bonus time. If you guys are watching on the replay, head on over to YouTube at Boston versus the Book. You can see bonus time. If you guys are live, don't move. Lots more to come here on a Fight Song Friday. Bonus time starts now. Yeah, I agree with you. Derek is a great guy. Really excited for him to have that. Circa, Illinois, we full there. Yes, Missouri got Circa, Ryan, in your neck of the woods. Absolutely. They got it. Very, very, very cool. Congratulations. I'm heading down to Circa this afternoon. Looking forward to seeing all the guys and giving them a big congratulations on this. They're super excited, and they should be super excited because it does expand Circa into a state that is going to be really, really, I think, pretty important with that. So, you know, it's an awesome state to operate in because there's professional sports. Kentucky's great. The Book's great. Being north of Nashville is great, but Kentucky is a college football market. Missouri is an everything market. It's baseball with the Royals and the Cardinals on either side of the state. It's football in the middle part of the state with Columbia. It's obviously a huge Chief market. It's obviously a gigantic hockey market with the Blues. Like, Missouri is a very, very good state to be in with a lot of diehard sports fans and big time sports gamblers. So it's a really, really cool thing going on. I only did one fight song at the top. I owe this to I forget who requested this. It may have been Jimmy Football who requested the Rambling Wreck. You know, there's a big controversy going on right now between Georgia Tech and Auburn. A Atlanta radio show host said they wish they were Georgia Tech right now talking about Auburn. That's pissed off some Auburn folks pretty good on this. So we'll see. Yellow Jackets may be pretty good this year. They might wind up in the top half of the ACC. And, you know, Auburn under Hugh Freeze, we'll see what they look like. Third year in the program for Auburn, and they've got a lot of talented freshmen coming in, but we'll see how quickly Auburn can be a contender in the SEC. They're not going to most likely be there this year, but Georgia Tech's got an easier conference. I mean, look, last year they have a quarterback that is going to be a lot of fun to see. Haynes King is going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. So, you know, folks at Auburn don't like it, but there may be some actual reality to it. Oh, I didn't put up that slide. Sorry. I made that slide and I didn't even use it. Well, why didn't I do that? Huh. That's too bad. Well, the Circa slide, it's okay. We don't need to do that. But that was my request. Again, if you guys want a fight song, you must give me the request the day before. Otherwise, I have a tough time because I can't I got to produce that whole thing. So it's not simple just to fire it like that. But this also was by request. We're big Michigan people here on BvB. We're all in on Michigan. Let's go. I'm excited. I got them to go undefeated. I got them to win the Big Ten. We're all in on them. I'm all in on Michigan. So we'll play that fight song quite a bit here on a Fight Song Friday. So looking forward to that. I know if you don't like Michigan, that's going to drive you crazy, but I kind of like it, to be quite honest. I'm a big fan of that Wolverine football team to see what they're going to look like and what they are going to do coming up this year. So it's going to be fun. Oh, that's a good game. Syracuse at Georgia Tech. Okay, let's go. Here we are. Yes, all you big blue people, that's all for you guys. I'm a Michigan fan unless they ruin the undefeated. Yeah, then we'll bet against them, right? If Michigan loses early, then we'll bet against them, and we'll be annoying on that. So, I'm stoking the fire. Well, okay, I'll give it to you guys. Although your fight song just isn't nearly as good. I mean, it's good. It's historic, but I don't know. I'll take Michigan's fight song over Ohio State's fight song kind of any day of the week, to be quite honest on that. I like it. I don't love it. So yeah, all you Michigan fans are going to boo it. I don't mind it. Wow. It's not the best fight song in the world. It's not even close, Chicago John. Come on. Best fight song in the world to me. That's the best fight song in the world. If you're gonna Rocky Top, JC from KC, are you drunk? Rocky Top, the best fight song. That's the most annoying fight song ever. No, no way. No, nothing Tennessee and Creamsicle U will ever be allowed to be the best. Rocky Top is, if you go to a game, you won't say that. Go to a Tennessee game in Knoxville. There's no way you come away going, that's the best fight song ever, because they play it nonstop. It's the only thing they know. I'm convinced the only song that the Tennessee marching band knows is Rocky Top. And thankfully, none of you guys have gone ahead and requested Tennessee yet. I'm assuming at some point you will. You will do that. But military schools next week. Well, you got to remind me, Jimmy. Send me an email if you want one of the. I'll give you one of the two. We can't do both for the military schools on a Fight Song Friday because we got games next week. Like, we'll have Kansas State next week. We'll pull that. That's huge. K-State, Farmageddon in Ireland is next weekend. So we'll have that coming up here on a Fight Song Friday. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what's going to happen. Mizzou, your fight song's weird, Ryan. Mizzou's fight song is interesting. I still can't get used to you guys in the SEC. That's never going to be possible. I can't get my brain around the fact that they're an SEC school. So, but hopefully this is getting you excited for football season and what's happening here for us. Fight Song Fridays will be fun. Those are the two things from my radio days that I wanted to bring over to this show. Now that it's me hosting solo, is one, the opening line, which I think successfully incorporated that into the show. And then the other is Fight Song Friday. Roll Call Friday was Dave's thing. Like, Roll Call Friday was an incredible idea, was a huge catalyst for the show. And when Dave's back, we're going to bring back Roll Call Friday because I love it. You guys love it. It's such a fun, cool thing. But without Dave, it's too complicated and crazy. And also it's his thing. So we're going to couch that until Dave comes back. Fight Song Friday is something that I had on my radio days for years. And so to bring that here to BvB and have it be a part of it is really getting us ready for college football. And, look, tons of shows are going to do NFL and focus heavily on the NFL. And we're going to talk NFL football clearly a ton on Fridays. But Fridays are going to be, because the games are Saturday, the next day, I always give a little bit of a preference to the college ranks. And I love the NFL. But if I'm picking between, I can only watch football for one day, Saturdays or Sundays. I'm picking Saturday. Almost every single time I will pick Saturday over Sunday. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that as a Patriot fan and seeing 6 championships, I am in love with the NFL. I'll always love the NFL. I love betting on the NFL. But as a kid who didn't go to a college football crazed school, but I worked in college football crazed markets, there's a different level of passion, a different level of intensity, and a different level of interest from me to the college game versus the NFL game. And big markets, big brands, all those things that come with the NFL. But give me a college football tailgate. Give me an Alabama, Tennessee, third Saturday in October environment. Give me an Iowa State game. Give me, anything with a college football rivalry. I've never gone to Ohio State, Michigan. I'm sorry. That's my bad. That needs to be fixed at some point. But I don't want to say that the fans care more. It's just the atmosphere is more fun to go to a college game. And the interest is different. Professional football, the gloves are off. You can say whatever you want, do whatever you want. In college, even though these kids are now more professional than ever before with the money they're making, it's still a different type of game. The game is played differently. It's fun. JPC, thank you. Appreciate that. And hell yeah. Hashtag Sherapan strong. Yeah. Speaking of which, speaking of that, well, we'll give him the guy. That for Dave, his team. He went to a football craze school, obviously, in Penn State. So it works because I am a college guy more than a pro guy. And Dave's school is ranked second in the country and trying to wind up winning a national championship and shocking the world that James Franklin can actually win something big in college football. I don't agree. I don't think so. But, yeah, the SEC is different. But it's not just the SEC. It's all of college. I mean, here, if you ask me, Matt, I have tickets to go watch UNLV play at Allegiant Stadium or the Raiders to play at Allegiant Stadium. Which one do you want to go to? I don't need more than 2 seconds to tell you I'm taking Saturdays. I'm going to the UNLV game. I cannot wait to get healthy. I haven't bought any tickets because I don't know what the fall is going to look like for me. I don't know how much pain and how the rehab's going to go. I don't know how active I'm going to be able to be this fall because of the surgery. So once I have a better idea of the surgery and what's going to happen, you better believe I'm going to watch UNLV. Dan Mullen, I'm trying to get Coach on the show. Hopefully we can get Coach on the show. We got already the basketball coach on the show for UNLV. Josh Pastern was awesome when he came on. I would love to get Dan Mullen on the show. So trying to effort that and get him on the show at some point in the next couple of weeks to get him on talking about college football and what's happening for his season. But there are high expectations for UNLV. There are people that think that this team, after what happened last year, that they got a shot to win the Mountain West. If they can beat Boise, that's the bugaboo. Can they beat Boise State? So if they can get past Boise this year, UNLV could be in the playoff. Like they were on the outside looking in last year, but they were close. They were knocking on the door. And so they got a lot of the similar players back, the fans, the town, the campus, a lot of buzz. I start teaching again on the 28th. I can't wait to get back to campus and get the vibe and feel what's going on for UNLV and that football program, because there's a lot of people that think the UNLV will have a chance to do some big things. And that offense, they got legitimate, SEC level coaching now going on at UNLV. So 100%, I am in on college football over NFL football. Guys, have a phenomenal weekend. Thank you for being here. Here's the thing when it comes to favorite thing about today. My favorite thing about today, and you're absolutely right, CBW, in this. Maddie, no Syracuse UNLV. That was her favorite sporting event ever. I mean, I've never doing it. Ish, am I covering the UFC today or tomorrow? Daily Juice tonight. So if you want that, Daily Juice tonight will have my UFC picks for today. I am. There's 2 bets I'm making. Most likely, I am for sure making one. There's a second one I'm kind of thinking about, but I'll have a full breakdown of the UFC card coming up here on the Daily Juice. You can get it on YouTube tomorrow morning. It'll be out for that. So that's where we'll be doing it. For me, my favorite week, or my favorite thing about today, is that I got a chance to see Dave this week, and I think we're going to get to see him this weekend. I think we're going to get some people together to go over and spend some time with him. And try to get his spirits up and trying to make him feel better. So favorite thing about today is really the favorite thing about the week, is the favorite thing about the weekend, that hopefully I'm going to be able to get over and see Dave at some point, either Saturday or Sunday, and bring some people with me and be up. So I'm going down to Circa tonight to go and check out what's happening at the end of Bet Bash and for the Hall of Fame induction tonight and to see some people. And then I'll be heading on over to see Dave over this weekend on Sunday. So we got NFL games tonight, 2 preseason games coming up here tonight, full slate tomorrow for NFL games. Looking forward to that. UFC tomorrow night, big sports day tomorrow, and then a big sports day on Sunday as well, baseball. And then we head into the first week of actual football games coming up for college for week 0. So that's going to be, let's roll. It's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, do whatever you need to do. Help us out, help us grow. Tell somebody about the show. Tell somebody about what we're doing here for BvB. Thank you to Jesse Merrick. Go check out his website, Silver and Black Sports Network. Good stuff with him. He'll be on the show again for sure, talking Raiders with us, in particular if the Raiders are good. And if Ashton Genty does what everyone thinks he's going to do, which is maybe win Rookie of the Year in the NFL. So looking forward to talking with him again. That was a lot of fun. Good job on the fight songs, guys. That was equally a lot of fun. And again, congrats to Derek Stevens and Circa for the Missouri announcement coming up here for today. We're back on Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern time for another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book.